right, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin.
I'm Tarsha.
And this is Conversations with the Crawleys. We do conversations about faith, family relationships, and we do recaps, reviews, and commentaries on a lot of the shows that we're watching. This happens to be The Ultimatum, that award-winning, just amazing documentary showpiece from Netflix, where couples are deciding whether or not they're going to live up to the ultimatum or go their separate ways. So this is content that you enjoy. You know what to do by now. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, request notifications.
And share.
And we'll see you in the comments. Consider becoming a member and checking out the merch store. That's what it was. All right, we'll see. Hey, all right, so let's jump into it. This is covering episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yep. And we're recording, right?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay, I want to make sure.
They can see it. So we recording.
Okay, I just want to make sure. One hit wonders.
One take.
One take.
We don't like to repeat. All right, anyway.
Like repeating. It's happened.
Yep, whether you catch it or not. All right, so this is after kind of everyone has made their decision. They're spending their first nights together. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 is kind of what we're covering in this recap. Sandy and JR. So I'm a little concerned about, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but
Don't drop ahead.
I'm concerned about them even when we first see them together, right? He was asking about sleeping in the bed with her, right? And he was making a little more than just, we're going to sleep on your side and my side. So early on in these series of episodes, she ran into Nick, and Nick was still upset that she chose JR.
Right. They met at the coffee shop. She was getting Starbucks.
Yes. And he was still a little upset. Why did you choose him? She told him that they kissed.
Yes. Why would you do that?
And she's calling, yeah. So
I don't get that. I will reserve that to when you got back together.
Right.
Because we talked about this in the last one. I didn't see any couples that was recorded that they gave any boundaries.
True.
And
in previous seasons, they've given boundaries.
In previous season, we've seen couples who say, hey.
They have the conversation.
Don't go this far. Don't swap saliva.
DNA, whatever.
Whatever.
Yep.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Yep.
And this one, they were like, oh.
Whatever's fair game. So with Sandy and JR, she's calling him baby a lot.
He's calling her.
He's calling her baby and wifey a lot too, right? Now, there was something I was like, yeah, that's just a difference. Because there was a point where I guess they were cooking. And she was like, oh my goodness, you used a lot of seasoning. Yeah.
Yeah, it might be a cultural difference.
Just a little one.
We season.
Yeah, we don't boil chicken. Sorry.
So we don't boil chicken.
All right. So, but they are having dinner at one point, and they see Nick from the balcony.
Yes. He's looking up, kind of up from him.
Nick, yeah, we're going to talk, because Nick does some stuff in these series of episodes. So I'm like, bruh.
He's not showing his age.
Not at all.
Let's start there.
Not at all.
He's not showing his age.
More with JR and Sandy is basically they really have no real conversation. Can we just talk about that? They really don't have, throughout this whole thing, they don't really have substantive conversation, especially compared to the other couples.
I don't see it. Now, if anything, I see glimpse of Sandy pointing out to JR.
Okay.
Like,
I can agree with that.
Hey, I'm trying to do this. You're being combative. You're doing this. So
Sandy and JR?
Yeah, Sandy and JR. I know that kind of, because we're talking about 3 episodes. And we're trying to say.
When is he being combative with her?
Closer to the end.
Okay.
In the last episode. When they were sitting on. It's closer to the last episode. We'll talk about when we get further in.
Okay.
But I see her more so kind of speaking out when she sees something concerning him. So at the beginning, yes, they're really kind of trying to get to know each other. And I don't see a lot of them talking about themselves, what they want to work on at the beginning.
Yeah, because JR is just constantly in flirt mode with Sandy.
Oh, yeah.
He's just constantly in, listen, you wifey.
Right.
Mode with her, right?
You're just so, your calves.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
What's the obsession that Brumman has with her calves?
He just keeps saying, you got the biggest calves. You have your calves.
I'm being good.
Your
I'm being
calves.
good right now.
Your calves.
I need y'all that watch us to know. I resolved in 2025, I'm not going to be as petty or as shady. So I'm being really good right now.
He places a
Just
lot.
use y'all imagination where I'm going with that. All right, go ahead.
He places a lot of emphasis on big calves. So
I like big calves and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny.
That's hilarious.
Baby got calves.
Because that's what baby only has. Hey, cha-cha-ching. All right.
I ain't say it. You said it a lot nicer than I was thinking it.
I'm just saying. I can say things nice.
We're gonna. No, I'm not going there.
All right.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, he also says, his trauma comes out periodically too.
Yes.
Of being cheated on. He says he doesn't want to share passwords. He's kind of like, if you're gonna cheat on me, I don't want to see it.
That's what she kind of brought that out. She's like, you can't do that in any new relationships or with your wife.
Yes.
Because to me, that didn't make sense. Like, I don't want to share because then I'll find out. I'm like, hold on. That don't make sense to me. The main thing is, I'm going to give you my password. At any point, if you decide you want to look at my phone, you have liberty.
Right.
Just because you have my password doesn't mean that you just go into my phone every day or check my phone.
Right.
We have the same password, and I don't go on your phone and just start scrolling through your social media, checking your text messages.
So that's a question that maybe I'll put in the comments. When do you start sharing your passwords with your significant other, right? When do you start sharing your password? When does that begin to happen, right? I mean, for us, granted, we've been married almost, as of this, it'll be 29 years in a couple of months, right?
We were dating before cell phones.
Before cell phones, right?
Was reasonable.
There was, yeah. I mean,
not
cell
till we
phones
married.
existed. But cell phones, when we first got married, were still like big blocks of stuff.
Yes,
right?
so you carried it in a bag.
Right, you had a bag.
It was expensive to have a cell phone.
But when we got our cell phones, we started getting, it was like we just started to share the password. It was not an issue for us.
To be honest, when cell phones first came out, I don't even think it had a password.
That's true.
Because you only could do is like call and a little bit of SMS texting.
Yeah, and even when we first got our phones, there wasn't the security that they have now.
Oh my God, I feel dated.
There was no fingerprint.
There was no
face
fingerprint.
unlock.
No face.
So for all of y'all Gen A or Gen Alpha or Gen Zs, whatever, sorry. So that's maybe a question for y'all, and even for those of us that are of age now. Or up in age that are back on the dating scene. When do you share your passwords? All right.
We had to be engaged.
Yeah, I think for us,
we have to be in each other's space a lot to be able to even get to my phone.
You ain't getting it after date 1.
Obviously not.
Or date 10, unless.
No, we will have to be engaged.
It's got to be seriously moving towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at the minimum, after you married, it's definitely for me. After we get married, it's just like, okay, what's your password?
All right, because at that point, I mean, it's like you have to jump into my phone sometimes for
right, or you'll be like, answer my phone,
right?
Like, and so sometimes I need to just be able to get in to get to whatever is going on.
Unless you got somebody with calves calling that you don't want the other person to find out about.
Right, you got to watch the women out there.
Women that got calves.
You got big calf, specific. Big calves.
Big calves.
So the big calfed women out there, you know,
all y'all brothers that want big calfed women, you might have to put your password away. Big calves. To each their own.
To each his own.
Calves are good, but all right. Anyway, so something else that happens is, just in the course of these episodes, is Nick shows up to the apartment.
Oh, yeah. He banging down doors.
Sandy!
Because that's after, are we going to do it in order? Because we're kind of like all over the place.
We're all over the place. Y'all know how we.
Okay, so let's stay with one. Let's stay with one couple, okay? And then we'll kind of get their sequence of events.
Yep.
Okay, so eventually. So they're dating, they're baby. And, we're touchy-feely.
A lot of touchy-feely.
We're talking about big calves and everything. And there's a lot of sexual attention going on.
Yep.
But we're not seeing a lot of
substance,
right? It's all not artificial, but
It's very, very surface.
surfacey. And he gets to meet her mom
Yes.
and sisters.
Yes.
Now, I don't bring, for this kind of series, personally, I wouldn't want my mom. It's like, I'm meeting this guy. I don't know if I'm going to walk out with Nick, It's like a fine balance. Like, there's no one else that I feel like.
Brother, sister. Okay, I get that.
Yeah.
Best friends, absolutely.
Someone you know gonna talk and give you good advice. I just hate for you to see,
because we meet someone and our son was trying to introduce us to every young lady that he was dating. We were like, we're good.
Yeah.
Only when it progresses to a serious point.
You're after.
We don't need to meet her after y'all had 3 dates.
Right.
We good.
Right. Right.
And then y'all break up after breakfast. We good.
Right. So that I found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're talking to him, trying to get his understanding of how their chemistry is working and everything. And he's touching her on the thigh and everything there and telling, the parents what you want to hear.
Right.
Your daughter's wonderful.
He talks about his tattoo that he has.
Yes.
That'll come up later.
Oh, yeah. He talks
later.
about the importance of the tattoo that he has because he's tatted up and everything. He talks about he owns his own business, his own fitness business.
Yes.
So, I mean, he does have some things going on for himself.
Absolutely.
But outside of his own trauma when his first marriage, we don't see a lot of anything else regarding him or
his healing.
Yeah, it's not going to have any healing coming out of this. Awareness, yes. I think self-awareness would come from this. But I don't see him really pressing Sandy in the way of how do you need to show up for your current partner.
Right.
He just kept talking about him and, you're showing up for me and I want you to be focused on me and I need the person to make sure they're on me and I need the attention.
Now, getting to where he shows up.
Yes,
Nick
now we're
shows
at
up.
the part where Nick shows, because now the sisters are like, hey, bro, like, hey, they kind of close over here.
Yeah.
Which, so they're putting more fuel on the fire.
And so he shows up to the door and JR's like, hey, man, listen, don't do this. It's not a good look for you. But Sandy is kind of, if you notice, at least for what it appeared to us, Sandy was standing in the bedroom door kind of laughing.
Yeah, because she came out at one point, she kind of like snickering that he's at the door kind of fighting with JR a little bit.
So my impression, my opinion is that Sandy has a little manipulative streak in her too.
Yeah, and I think she's playing I think she's being a little petty in the sense of, you brought me here. You started this. So let me finish it for you and see what you're missing out. I'm gonna show you the pain of what you've caused in our relationship, how you show up. And so now it's not only me seeing it, it's just going to be mental turmoil for you.
Yes. Now here's the thing, because part of I think Nick's descent, if you will, into this is compounded by the fact that the person that he matched with left.
Yes.
So one of the things that happened early on in episode 4, I believe it was that Dave and Vanessa, Micah and Chanel all was like, we out. We're going to go ahead and figure this out on our own. I don't trust each other with it. Yeah. So they all bounced, which left Nick by himself.
Yes.
It left Mariah also by herself.
Yes.
So you see a lot of like Nick doing angry painting. Right. Throwing paint up against the wall. He doing angry painting. He's not doing his was it Bob Ross impression? He like angry painting.
He gonna sell that. It's gonna be my ultimate expression.
Yes.
So, which art therapy can be very good.
Yes.
Now, Mariah makes the case that he's using that painting to escape instead of dealing with the emotions head on.
Because every time we see Mariah, she just doing homework. It look like she's doing homework every time she like, okay, fine, I'm gonna just go ahead and do some homework.
And if she's doing her own self-study, right? Like she's really working. I think that's what they're trying to identify, that she's really trying to work on herself in these moments, right?
Yes.
Because she's the one that they got her coming off a little smothering with her love based on, again, there's a lot of childhood trauma.
Yes.
I think a lot of times people do need to take that time when you're dating or not dating. What are you doing to fix the issues that are, continually coming up? Because unfortunately, we at some point had childhoods that could be more traumatic than others. Sometimes it caused by family, sometimes outer things.
Right.
And so how do we show up as adults be the best person first for us and then for the individual we're with?
Yeah. So let's shift to Zaina and Scotty, and we'll talk through, because there are some other things that happen as far as date night or guys night and girls night.
Okay, we're going to do the guys and girls.
This is a little separately, right? Okay. So Zaina and Scotty, they're getting along.
Yes, they're getting along.
They're talking about DoorDash. We're talking about the relationships.
Yeah.
There's a moment where she like, look, I cook for you, and she like
tells him to turn around.
Right, so she unplate the DoorDash and like put it up real gourmet style.
Yeah, she like, why are you putting these on plates? She's like, I want the presentation to be right.
Now, here's the thing about Zaina.
That's funny.
As far as like things that we see, and you pointed this out, Zaina's eye-hand coordination is crazy.
That girl, no matter
they would play basketball.
Yeah, it's just swoosh, swoosh.
Because she put Scotty to shame as far as any sports or anything.
Okay, because he was like, she's like, you play, and brother man can't get nothing going.
So
on the basketball court.
Now this was they did meet family and friends, so they met her sister and friends, right? Which I think is in this concept, it's appropriate, right? Your brother, your sister typically is going to give you the advice,
right? They
know kind of how you are, maybe not fully in relationships,
right?
But there's also, I don't think, the expectation from a brother or sister that, oh, is this my next brother-in-law or is this well? I don't think that's ever the case, right? Now the sister she's like, I like JR. Sister's like, I like JR. Scotty, you cool, but she prefers JR for her sister. And they do ask Scotty basically they ask the sister, they ask Zaina that if JR asks tomorrow about getting married, what she would say. And Zaina says she would say no.
She would say no because I'm still trying to see what their dynamics are together, because we haven't seen them really, their dynamics together,
right?
Because she seems very put together, very driven, and I'm not saying he's not, right? Because to have a fitness business, to be able to take care of yourself and everything, that does take some type of drive to be able to. There's models.
Still a sense of immaturity in some, and that immaturity comes out in how he's handling Sandy.
Yes. Yes.
He's literally like a kid in a calf store.
Yes. Big calf store.
Yeah, in the big calf store.
Yes.
Candy store, for those of y'all that couldn't catch that.
Right.
But he's coming off that way, whereas she is putting some effort into, yes, she's figuring out herself, but she's also trying to help Scotty with himself. And there could be, in a different situation, there probably could be some chemistry between her and Scotty, but I think she's grounded enough to be like, okay, this is just a 3-week thing. The rest of my life is what I'm trying to figure out.
Right. And he's like, she's not keep saying my husband, my trial husband, my husband, my husband. She's more like, okay, like, because Scotty does push her like, hey, why do you keep, diverting when I'm asking you something very direct?
Yes.
And so you tend to do that. And she's like, and Scotty's asking, like, do you see that? And she's like, no, I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
So he's bringing out some things that he's noticing. And she's kind of being receptive to it, to say, okay, let me check into those things that I haven't caught about myself.
Right.
And I think that's what they should be doing. Well, on the side where her boyfriend is, it's like, let's play house.
Yeah. So they are making their efforts, making their attempts. All right. We'll touch back with them when we deal with the girls' night and guys' night, because there's some things that happen from there that definitely need to be addressed. And then Ari and Caleb, they're doing well. There's a little flirtation between the two of them, but it
comes on gradually.
Yes, it comes on gradually, but it's also still reserved.
It is.
It's still like, yeah, but no.
It's respectful.
Yeah, but no.
Their scenario is the greatest scenario out of all of them.
Of the three couples.
Couples, right, that remain. First of all, his goal was to be respectful to his current girlfriend
Yes.
and to the person that he's matched with.
Yes.
I think that Arya is taken off guard because how he decides to represent himself.
Yep.
And with that makes him attractive.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let me tell you, man, out here, if there's men that's watching, that women are more attractive when you can have a respect for a woman and hold back concerning your own desires in a sense and have a maturity to it. And they would rather you first get to my mind. And then obviously that leaves the access to everything else.
My mind's telling me no, but my body's. All right.
So for her, she's like, I thought this was gonna be platonic. It sounded like she was like, I'm setting myself up for the best success because I see this person as a friend.
Right.
And I think if you can see someone first as a friend, that no matter what can happen, then that's the person you gotta be, can be more dangerous than anything.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in all honesty, Caleb could easily slide in there.
Oh, definitely.
He could.
Just a couple DMs, like, you know.
Hey, Arya.
I'm thinking of you. I remember us looking into each other's eyes.
Yeah. So.
And she'd be like, I'm gone.
So now there is a point where there is a girls' night out where all the ladies that are remaining in the experiment meet up and all the guys meet up in the experiment.
Oh, we do need to mention one thing.
Go ahead.
When they're talking about Arya and Caleb, when she's getting to the point where she's saying that she feels emotional connection and he doesn't want to bring it out that she talks to what's her name? Mariah about it. And so he's being reserved in the fact of showing that he's catching feelings for her.
Yeah.
While she's trying to be like, I don't think you should be doing that. I think you need to be upfront that you have feelings.
Yeah.
And so that would set us up when we go into the guys' night.
Yes. So for the girls' night, they're talking. Mariah gives insight to Sandy on Nick because Sandy has had conversations with Nick since they are without a partner in this experiment, right? So they've kind of become coaches to each other.
Correct.
More so Mariah to Nick than Nick to her.
Right.
Nick is still devolving, if you will.
Right.
As far as just where he goes with this.
Because they done had a meltdown. I mean, like bawling, crying.
Like laying on the couch.
And then had to go in the bedroom.
Why?
I'm like, okay, now we need to get ourselves.
Damn, Sandy, why'd you leave me?
I was like, okay, we have gone way too far. Why are we at this point?
Yes.
You know, now I don't want to take for granted that he has this emotional connection, right?
Correct.
And that these are his feelings.
Yes.
But I think he really needs to look at that he set himself up for this. And now that he put himself in this position, why is his emotion so strong now?
Yes.
And why didn't he think about his relationship and what he could bring to the table to be marriage material?
Yeah.
Because obviously you're like, this person doesn't want to marry you. Then what are we not doing to make this happen?
Yeah. So for the guys' night, because that was pretty much the girls' night, they were civil towards each other.
There was
pretty nothing major.
It wasn't like they were being petty toward each other. Like, your man
that
is
happened on the guy's side.
Your man is kissing all up on me or rubbing on me. See, they left a lot out.
Yeah, because Sandy could have gone very much there.
I think she went just enough. Zaina was picking up some, but Zaina kept it so classy. But she was side-eyeing just a tad side, like,
Them big calf women.
Okay.
All right. But on the other side, on the guy's side, Nick comes in apologizing.
Which is, it makes sense. You want to set the tone. And which is, man, I would say there'll be something manly of him.
Yes.
He's like, look, I was in my feelings.
All in his feelings.
And it wasn't appropriate for me to come to the door.
Right.
And we got a little bit excited.
Because Jay was like, I didn't know, even though he knew where we was at.
Right.
Because it's like, it sounds like they're in probably an apartment complex or maybe a
but
hotel.
they're not in the same building.
Right.
For Nick,
Mm-hmm.
to see them, he was looking up from the other side.
Yes.
So yeah.
So Nick is like, what you don't know is that there's a lot of I miss yous that she keeps giving me, right? Which again leads me to the manipulative side of what I feel is manipulation, or trying to play them against each other. I think, especially as we look into this further, I think that she is using JR to make
him jealous,
to purposely make Nick jealous, right? I think that that's really the more of what she's doing is that she's using Nick, or using JR to make Nick more jealous. That's my thoughts.
That's an interesting perspective. You know, I think also there is a torn, like you're meeting someone new and you still want to have some contact with the other person. Like Nick and Mariah's been saying, it's like, but it's only one-sided because they don't have anyone.
Right.
So there's nothing for Sandy to really like, should I be reconsidering things because you've been having a relationship with someone else since he's there by himself.
Right.
And granted, she does care about him because she does mention at the beginning, I do feel bad that there's no one there to support him during this time. So I get her texting him back and forth. I'm a little surprised that JR would think that she would be able to disconnect from somebody that's been in a relationship for 2 years and that they're, again, where it's supposed to be all about him. And she's like, yeah, I am saying that I missed him. Yeah, he's by himself. So I probably did, and I will.
Which, to the other point, though, is JR is acting as if Zaina doesn't exist.
Yes, like they haven't had any conversations. Like, I'm really getting into this. Yeah, you are, boo. You getting into it more than anybody else.
Right.
Like, you playing this role to the T.
Right.
Like
you straight in the Tyler Perry movie. All right. So now there is something else that happens in that whole situation is JR kind of pops off at Scotty because the rumor that JR heard is that Scotty said that JR was there on a hall pass. Why do I feel like I'm talking about 3 kids?
Right.
But JR is upset because he thinks, again, Scotty told people that JR was just there on a hall pass.
Yeah.
Which, in all honesty, JR is almost proving that in his actions. Right. If you don't know what a hall pass is, basically it's just a term that basically means that you have the ability to step out on your relationship for a period of time. Okay.
And so Scotty like, what? What are you talking about?
Like, I ain't that invested in you.
Right.
He's like, I could care less. I don't know you well enough to say that. And that doesn't fit with my character. But then, you know, JR in defense of him and Sandy is like, we really connected really well, da-da-da. And Nick's like, whoa. Are y'all sleeping together? And JR
doesn't say nothing.
Doesn't say anything.
He looked guilty.
We never get an answer to it.
No, or they don't show the answer.
Right.
Now, see the dynamics of Nick is on one couch. Caleb is in the middle couch. JR and Scotty's on another couch. I'm focused on Caleb. Caleb is looking like, just let me know if I need to step out of the way. If any of y'all start swinging, I just want to be able to block whatever's coming my way.
Caleb is analyzing. He's like, okay, I can jump on this side of the couch and then jump out that way.
If I need to jump,
I can jump that way. He's like, I can duck.
I don't know if I can hold JR back. I'm going to focus all my energy on keeping Nick back.
Because he literally sitting there sitting.
You're like, what's happening here?
So then that leads into after the guy.
Hold on. We got to talk about when Scotty asks about Caleb.
Yes.
And so Scotty like, so what's up? You know, you got my girl with you. How's it going? And Caleb's so nonchalant, like, yeah, it's going good. Working out, we having no issues. And he's like, so how do you feel? You know, you spent this time with her. She's a friend. Great. Good friend. We're good. And Scotty's calling out the BS. He said, hold up, man. I'm going to tell you something about my woman. This is the type of woman that I got that easily men can catch feelings for. because he knows that she's the type of person that's laid back. She's the type of person that's going to be listening.
Yep.
She's the type of person that's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And so any man wants peace in the house.
Yes.
You're going to go for the woman with peace. I currently got a woman that gives peace, even though I bring the fire. We can tell who brings the fire, right? And so you're telling me you're not catching no feelings? He said, that's BS.
Yeah.
I mean, Scotty has that enough awareness
Of what he has.
Yeah. And he's like, I know what I have. I know how I try to protect my own. But for you not to say that,
Yeah.
it's either something wrong with you or...
But again, and that again brings the point home of most of the guys, as they're going through this, they do know what they have, and they are mindful of what they have. JR is the only one that we see in this whole scenario who seems to be ignoring. He's mindful of what he has, but he's kind of ignoring it.
Right. It's like he don't want to bring it up because it brings up hurt that, you know, like, oh, have you been telling Zarya something in her head that trying to manipulate her? I'm like, well, what are you doing with Sandy?
Because
he sounds like he's projecting a lot.
Right, because here's the thing. Zarya, or Zania, what's her name? Zania.
Zania? I apologize.
Zania does not strike me as someone that is going to give in to that. And
yes.
Because the reason we can say that is how she handles even the conflict that she has with Scotty after the guys' night. So after the guys' night, Scotty comes in, and Scotty is just like, his whole atmosphere and mood shifted, right? He was really cold. And she's like, hey, you okay? He's like, yeah. She's like, okay. And then, you know, she comes back, and again, she circles back around. It's like, hey, what happened?
You don't seem okay.
You don't seem okay.
Do you need a minute so that we can talk about whatever's going on with you?
So then he becomes passively aggressive, accusatory to her of, did you tell JR that I said da-da-da? Because he's like, do I ever come off as trying to destroy your relationship? I forgot how he phrased it.
Yeah, but he's like, that's just a yes or no question.
And she's like, not definitively. She's like,
not directly.
So she's trying to explain, because it's a nuanced answer, right? And he's just really passive aggressive with it, where he's kind of like just cold, and
he's kind of getting loud.
Yes. And she's like, she's pushing back, but she's not yelling at him.
Right.
And he's like, why are you raising your voice? Dude.
You're raising your voice.
You want to raise your voice.
You come up here upset. Like you're upset like I did something.
Right. Like he has definitive proof that she did or said something.
And she's like, I didn't do nothing. I just came from the women just like you came from the men. So why are you bringing this energy from here?
So that's when Scotty's insecurity starts to come out, because his insecurity comes up again later at as they're breaking up, if you will, for the last time.
Which I don't understand, because she picks you.
You picked her.
You picked her. There is a chemistry there. So she's finding you attractive for you being you, right? And I don't see where she's bringing up her ex or comparing the two. Not in the video that we've seen. So I'm trying to figure out why you ain't focused on Caleb, who you know is hiding something. But you're more concerned about JR, who's not dating your girl.
Right.
That's just...
And I think she does point that out a little later. She's like, why you keep talking about
you bring up JR? Right. Well, you keep bringing up JR a lot.
So we also see Nick talking to Mariah afterwards, and he's telling her kind of what went down at the guys' night out. But and she talks about kind of her conversation with Sandy. And one of the things that we find is that Nick is admitting to the fact that, I don't want to say complacent, but he basically gets to a point in his relationships where he doesn't keep the same energy.
Right. Not emotionally checked in.
Right. And so he's like, okay, I can acknowledge that that's kind of how I've been. And he feels that he's losing Sandy, and he doesn't trust JR. Cool. I don't think you should trust JR.
No, I wouldn't trust JR. Based off of what JR doesn't say and does say, I wouldn't trust it.
Yes.
But at the same time, how do you keen in pulling your emotions?
Right.
Because you're emotional when you're about to lose something, but you're not emotionally intelligent while you're in your relationship.
Yep.
And why is that?
Yeah. JR is talking to Sandy. They're talking kind of where they are. this is probably the deepest conversation that we see from them.
Yes.
Which isn't saying a whole lot.
Right.
But we start to see a deep conversation from them. She talks about how, she cares about Nick, what have you, but then she gets this really ugly cry. Ugly cry. And is talking about how she doesn't want to move back in with him.
Yeah. Because she doesn't want to deal with the ups and downs of his emotions right now, and she's talking about dealing with JR, because JR has been a little
Possessive.
And I think she said that hasn't been really talking in the last 2 or 3 days.
Yes.
Because he knows he has to go back to his religion in Zion.
Yep.
And so she tries to address that. She's like, look, you're saying that you're concerned because I'm talking about Nick, because he's like, you're just talking about Nick and da-da-da-da. She's like, dude, I was in a relationship with him. I got to go back to that. And I got to manage that. I don't have anyone to talk to about my feelings because you're not talking to me.
Yes.
So I'm managing your feelings too.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's overwhelming, which that makes sense. I give her that.
Yeah. So Arya and Caleb meet Arya's brother and sister-in-law. They're talking through, basically we find that the brother didn't particularly care for Scotty in the first place.
Which makes sense.
But then also it brings up a great point as far as Arya, basically the brother points out that Scotty is like their dad. And that's, sometimes it's interesting how sometimes you don't want what you grew up with, but you subject yourself to it. Not subject, but you find yourself in some way attracted to it. So.
Yes. Because and we've said this many times, even in chaos, there's comfort in chaos.
Yeah.
And so this is a common, you're used to that type of chaos. You know how to exist in that type of chaos.
Yes.
So you're attracted to that chaos. When you're finding something like Caleb, for instance, where you can find peace and realize I can be comfortable in peace, you're like, oh, well, why am I settling for chaos?
Right. Yeah. That's a bar right there.
Go ahead. My Cash App is, I'm taking up an offering. Listen. But
all right. So then I'm trying to think of other things that happened. Of course, everybody's talking about moving back in with the other person.
Yeah.
Caleb and Arya exchange books, which are as gifts.
That was cool.
That was a very cool thing.
And she wrote a card to him. Again, that's more personal, deeper connection. Yeah. Being physical, yes. But that kind of connection in a book, and you write something to me, that's closer.
Yeah. One thing that was interesting, I don't know where it falls exactly in, but Nick goes and gets a tattoo.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, he's getting a tattoo. And he, of course, the tattoo artist is doing what have you. And I'm thinking to myself, as we're watching it, why do we care if he's getting a tattoo?
I was like, okay. I thought he was going to put like her name or something. He's trying to be like romantic or something when she came back.
Nope. He put a phrase on there, and I forget, I didn't take notes on the exact phrase, but he puts a phrase on there in Latin. Fortune favors the bold, I think it is, right? And I was like, that sounds familiar. So I went back.
You remembered? I didn't even remember.
JR has the tattoo. Remember, he's sitting with her family, and he does this, and on his hands is that tattoo. And I was like, this Joker, so pressed, so insecure, that he goes and gets the tattoo that JR has. And then he goes through this thing of, and it could be very genuine, right? I don't know. But it goes through this thing of, oh man, I sent you the wrong one. I meant to send you something else, right, based on love. But it's okay. My thing is, why even consider that?
Well, hold on. Don't tattoo artists, because he had to sketch it out?
They do. At least when I got my tattoo, right? And most tattoo artists that I've known or seen, they will sketch it out. They'll have you approve the drawing. They'll even trace it on your skin.
And show you. This is how it's going to look. So tell me
unless
how.
It's one of those, it's 3:00 in the morning, surprise me type of tattoos.
Right. I'm drunk. But show me how. Now, if it was spelled wrong, Then you caught off
No,
guard.
no regrets. Not one regret.
Not even an R.
Shout out to you if you know where that line is from.
So I can see if you look at it like, oh, you misspelled something, but bro, that was like 4 words, and I believe there's several attempts at tattoo artists because it's permanent. Make sure this is what you want. This is how you like it. This is where you want it on your body. And none of that time, they're like, oh, shoot, I sent you the wrong thing. You can,
Yeah, bro.
yeah, I don't believe you. I believe you set it up for cameras so that you could have some type of excuse. I can't, but it's still, I don't believe you. There's no way you can tell me you
that was just a coincidence.
Yeah, you send it to the tattoo artist because you want to know how much it's going to cost you, right? If anything, like, hey, I can see you sending like, hey, man, how much are you going to do this for me? Right? And then I get there and the tattoo artist say, hey, you text me you want such and such, right? Because he has to charge you the right price.
Yep.
How do you want it on your body? Where do you want it?
Because, the consultation, when I had my consultation, my guy was like, listen, let's put it on there. Is this good? He like put the piece of paper that he traced it on, put it on the area of my skin. He's like, okay, do you want it more centered here? Do you want it more centered there? Because he's like, once we put this on, it's gonna be you're gonna have to go through some stuff to get it off, and even then, right? So I was like,
and you gotta still pay him. So he's like, he want to make sure it's right because it's like, look, you're gonna end up paying me for this.
Yeah, you
can't tell me you don't like it. So I don't believe you.
Yeah. All right. So Scotty and Zaina, they are going through essentially their last night, right? They're trying to end on a good note,
right?
Talking, getting dinner, all that fun stuff. Things seem to be okay. And then, in my opinion, Scotty's insecurity starts to manifest. Manifest. All right. And basically, he starts this whole thing of you still checking for your boy. You get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the bathroom, take your phone. Y'all calling, talking, texting, da-da-da. And Zaina's like, hold on, bro. Why are you checking me? Why are you clocking me?
What? First of all, why you keep talking about JR?
Yes.
Why you keep talking about him? She's like, I don't understand. He's not involved in any way in this, and I don't know why you keep bringing him up.
Right.
He's like, well, da-da-da-da-da-da. And, you sharing. And then so she's like, hold on. So now we're back to this. That you're blaming me for what happened between you and him?
Yep. And she basically, first of all, he starts calling her immature. His gaslighting starts coming out. He starts gaslighting. And she's like, you so worried about JR when you should be worried about your girl. You should be worried about Aria because Caleb coming for you.
But she didn't say that.
She didn't say that. But
she didn't say that.
Those of us that are watching, like,
I'm thinking his focus is wrong.
Yes.
Because he's talking about so much about his character. If you don't care and you addressed it, because you're like, I don't think I'm going to be able to change your mind. Then once you talked to her and she said, no, I didn't have anything to do with that.
Just leave it.
Then leave it as that. Then guess what? Fine. Talk. If you feel like you need to go through everybody and investigate everybody, knowing that somebody ain't going to tell you the truth, sooner or later, truth will come out.
And here's the thing. Let's just kind of go down this trail, okay? If, let's say, you decide you don't want for Scotty, you don't want to leave with Aria, you'd rather leave with Zaina, and Zaina is amenable to that as well. At some point, you're gonna find out, yeah, you not all you cracked up to be. You're gonna find out she's been less than truthful about some things. But at this stage, it's like you kind of gotta, because it's a trial thing. It's a 3-week thing.
You gotta let it go.
Get over it, bro.
But he don't want to let it go because he got to be right.
Yes. So then the other couple. So then, because JR and Sandy, they go on this walk and they're, I don't know what I'm going to do without you. And my heart will go on. He said some stuff that I'm like, bruh. He said, and I wrote down the quote. He says last night, he says he could see himself married to someone like Sandy because he couldn't see himself being married before.
Yep.
He said, I could see myself being married
To
to someone like Sandy.
So you're saying that your current girlfriend doesn't have
The
the
qualities,
qualities of
the
something you want
character,
to marry.
the things that you want to marry.
Fine, man. Go take
You,
big calf
you
girl.
need them calves.
She need. That's what he's saying.
You saying you can't take Zayna to the gym and be like, here, this
Work on this
machine will
guy.
help you with your calves.
Nope.
I need big calf girl.
So
And he says also, my heart is full.
I was like, dude, this is, to me, he's broken so many boundaries.
Yes.
I that's how I personally feel. Me observing from the outside, my personal opinion is that he broke too many boundaries.
Yes.
Because it's like, I'm reserving my heart, but can I have an affection for you? I can feel like there's a connection.
I can acknowledge
But-
that there's an attraction. I can
Yes.
acknowledge that if things were different, things might be
Yes.
different.
Yes.
But when I start saying stuff like, my heart is full.
Yes. And like, babe, my wifey. Like, if you didn't say that to your real girlfriend,
And if you didn't say that within 3 weeks.
that's true. That's another thing.
So
I'm just like, and he's like, well, I'm anxious about going back. And yeah, because you're going to find out if somebody's going to be talking about what you've been doing.
yeah. Well, look here. There's cameras, bruh.
Yeah, they got receipts.
They
for
got
days.
receipts for days.
And trust me, they're going to show them receipts. So it's
So
rather make a
even
confession.
if, let's say, they leave at the end, this is my confession.
You better start confessing. Confess all of it. Because he was worried when Sandy came back. First thing he was saying, what did you tell her?
That's
his main focus when she came back.
You're right.
So what did you say? That's all he cared about. Because I would have been questioning.
I need to know a story I need to tell.
I was like, what do you mean? Because see, that's where Sandy, I'd be like, so what you talking about? What if I did tell him? How do you feel about it now?
Yeah.
How do you feel about me now if I shared that all the things you've been saying about me, talking all about my calves? We started talking. I told her how much you love my calves and how big you thought they were.
And you caress my calves
Caressing
every
them
night.
Every night. How about that?
All right, listen. So pretty much we end the 6th episode with them getting back with Nick and
Yeah, they're coming back.
I forgot his wife's name.
Oh my God.
I know, but yes.
So sorry.
Oh, now why did Sandy's Nick, you mentioned this, why did Sandy's Nick look like he was a refugee from 98 Degrees or Old Town or something, one of them boy bands?
He looked like one of those guys who used to be in a boy band.
Like he was the band member that they kicked out because he had too many issues going on. So
It's too emotional.
yes. So that's it. We're gonna watch these last 3 episodes and the reunion. So definitely make sure that you have, if you have not already subscribed,
to
do
put the
that.
reunion separate.
We might have to because the reunion
all
might
this
be.
drama might be dropping in that reunion.
So we'll definitely, if you haven't already, subscribe.
We're
And
back.
for those of y'all that have been with us for a while, the OGs, the what do we call it? The Crawley clan, the Crawley crew. I forgot what it was.
We gotta look up.
We gotta figure out what we said. Yeah, KT squad.
Yeah.
The KT squad.
KT squad.
We appreciate y'all still sticking through.
Hey,
we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
You getting them notifications again? We finally dropped the video.
Notifications, yes.
Because February, we need to say it. Ready to Love is coming back.
Family and Fiancé
Family
is
and
coming back.
Fiancé is coming back.
Just if you came here looking for Married at First Sight, that era of our life is over.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I can't
do it
do
no more.
50 episodes.
Just to get to the wedding.
I can't do.
Because they was dragging that on.
They were dragging.
I think this season
it.
been going on since 2019. So, all right, that's it for this one. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great one. Be blessed. Peace.
Bye.